MJ, and in today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to make our owl lovey. So what you want to start out with is a 9-point star blanket, and I'll have the link to the video tutorial on how to make the star blanket. It'll also be in the description box. So I've completed a total of 12 rounds for the owl lovey, and I have used 6 colors. You can choose any colors you want, but I've chosen these 6 colors here. You can see them. And I've done 4 rounds in my latest color, 3 rounds, 2 rounds, and then the last 3 colors, only 1 round each. These are the Brava minis, and you can get the mini pack that has a variety of colors, which is perfect for doing small projects like this. And I'll have the link in where you can purchase these in the description. So there is 25 grams or 50 yards on each ball. And this is what I had remaining from the size blanket that I have made. And to make the blanket, I used an eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter, and this is my Furls Streamline Swirl hook. So now I'll be showing you how to make the head for our little owl, and you'll be using a G, which is a 4 millimeter crochet hook, and I'll be using the gray to make the head, and then I have some colors here for the eyes. You can use some yellow for the beak, and all of these colors are included in the Brava mini pack, so it's great. You can pick and choose between the colors in the set. So now you're going to need a stitch marker to mark the first stitch of every round because we won't be joining. So let's start out with a magic ring, and we'll chain 1, and we're going to work 10 single crochet in the ring. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then we'll pull the ring tight. So take your tail, that's going to start pulling in 1 loop. And take that, it's going to pull the other loop in, and there, now we're tight. So now I'm going to do 2 single crochet in every stitch, and we'll want to start marking this out with our marker. So there's 1, 2, and I'm going to put the marker back in the first stitch, and then just work 2 single crochet in every stitch around. Okay, so I worked all the way around, so now I have 20 stitches. I'll just remove the marker. We're going to work 1 single crochet in the first stitch and then 2 in the next. Okay, and I'm just going to go back and place that marker in the first stitch. So 1 single crochet in the next, and then 2 in the next. 1 in the next, and then 2 in the next. And repeat that all the way around, increasing to 30 stitches. Okay, so I've worked all the way around. I have a total of 30 stitches. So now for the next round, we're going to work 1 in the first and 1 in the next. Let's get that marker into the first stitch. Then we'll do 2 in the next. So 1 single crochet in each of the next 2, and then 2 single crochet in the next. So we just repeat this pattern all the way around. So I've worked all the way around for a total of 40 stitches, and now you're going to work rounds 5 through 12, working only 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So do a single crochet and just keep marking every round and keep track. So this is the start of round 5, and you want to be working a total of 8 rounds, working just 1 single crochet in every stitch around for a total of 40 stitches each round. Okay, so I've completed 12 rounds in total, and now we're going to start our decreases. So we're going to work 1 single crochet in the first 2 stitches. And now I'll put my marker back. And now I'm going to do an invisible single crochet decrease. So go through only the front loop of the next stitch, go through only the front loop of the next stitch. I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that will make the stitch look the same as a single crochet. So now single crochet in the next 2, and then we'll do an invisible decrease. So front loop only, go through the front loop only of the next, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're just going to continue in this manner all the way around. So now for the next round, we're just going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch around for a total of 30 stitches. So 1, 2, the marker in the first, and just continue to work a single crochet in every stitch around. Okay, so I've completed that round for a total of 30 stitches, and we're going to start our next decrease round. So this time we'll work 1 single crochet in the first, and then we'll do the invisible decrease across the next 2. So a single crochet in the next, and then a decrease. Single crochet in the next, and then a decrease. And we'll just continue in this manner all the way around, reducing to 20 stitches. Okay, and for the next round, we'll work 1 single crochet in every stitch around for a total of 20 stitches. Just work all the way around in singles. Okay, so I've finished working around. At this point, we're going to want to stuff with polyester fiber fill. I have some here. What we're going to do now is decrease every 2 stitches. So we're reducing down to 10 now. So we're just doing a decrease across the next 2, decrease across the next 2, and just continue this all the way around. Okay, so I've worked all the way around with 10 stitches. I'm just going to fasten this off, leaving a long tail. So 10 stitches left. I did go ahead and mark that first one. And then what we're going to do to close it up, I'm going to weave through the front loop of every stitch. Then once you get all the way around, you're just going to pull it tight. Now I'm going to weave back in the opposite direction. So I'm going to use this yellow, it's called a Canary, to make the beak. So we'll get a slip knot, put that on the hook, and chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Work a single crochet in the second chain from the hook, a half double crochet in the next chain, double crochet in the next 2 chains, and a treble in the last. Just fasten that off with a long tail. Okay, and there's your little beak. Okay, so now we're gonna make the ears. So we're gonna make a magic ring. Pull through chain 1 and work 6 single crochet. Now we'll pull the ring tight and we'll slip stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in that first single crochet. Okay, and then round 2, we'll chain 1. We'll work 1 single crochet in the first stitch. One single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochet in the next. Then we'll work 1 in the next, 1 in the next, and 2 in the last stitch. And slip stitch in the first to join. Chain 1. And for rounds 3 and 4, we're just going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch around. So we have 8 stitches. So we're going to do this for round 3 and also for round 4. So I'm going to complete those off camera. Okay, and for round 5, we'll chain 1, work 1 single crochet in the first 3 stitches, and then we'll work 2. 1 in each of the next 3. And then in the last stitch, we'll do 2. Slip stitch to join. And then fasten that off with a tail. And you need to make 2 of these. Okay, so now for the tassels, I'm just going to take ear tassels about 10 inches in length, and I'm just taking 1 of every color. Use my hook to pull all of those through. Pull that nice and tight. And then you can leave your tassel as long as you want. And then they're gonna get sewn to the top here. Okay, so I've used some pins to just start placing my pieces, and I'm going to show you how to make the sleepy eye. I've pinned the little ears in place and the beak just so I get a good placement before I sew them on. So I'm using white for the eye, my smaller hook. I'll make a magic ring. Chain 1. Now I'm going to work 8 single crochet in the ring. I'm going to pull that ring tight. Okay, so we're slip stitching to join. Chain 1, work 2 single crochet in every stitch around. So we're increasing from 8 stitches to 16 stitches. Okay, and I slip stitch to join, and now I'll chain 1, work 1 single crochet in the first, and then 2 in the next. 1 in the next, and 2 in the next. And just repeat that all the way around. Okay, so now you have 24 stitches. We're going to fasten off with the tail long enough for sewing. And then what we're going to do is make this sleepy eye. So I like to insert my hook through sort of that second round, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections I've looped. Okay, so let me grab my yarn and my needle, and I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to use some of the dark gray. I think it just stands out a little bit better, but not as harsh as the black. So this is what's nice about the minis too, is it has all these color options. So we're going to thread, move some of this stuff out of the way. Just take a look at this eye here. Okay, so here's my second round. I'm going to push my needle up through, pull through enough yarn that you think you'll have enough to complete your eye. So the first area here, it's about 2 stitches, I would say, that I've gone. About 2 stitches. So there's 1. And there's 2. You pop up. 3. And 1 more. So there we've got 4. Okay, so there's that part of the eye, and then what I want to do is come, and I'm going through, pushing up through the center of the stitch, and then going back down through where we've inserted the needle. You just got to be careful you don't tangle things up too much at the back. Okay, so then the next one, I'm just pushing up through the center of the needle. And if you've ended up that you don't like how it looks, it's really easy just to pull all these stitches back. like to make sure they match up, they look okay. What you can do to save on a little bit of weaving is just not that. And then I'll have to weave in the other end. Okay, so then what you can do is put your eye on here and just grab a pin to pin it in place. And these really, really help keep everything in line when you go to sew. I've kind of put my beak a little bit under the eyes. You can just play around to see how you like yours, but I think this looks cute. Then what you're gonna do is just start sewing on, and I just like to go through the center of the stitch, coming up through the center of it as I sew this on. Okay, so I'm gonna get my pieces sewn on. You're just gonna go around all the out pieces of each ear, going through the stitch and the amigurumi head, going around the beak. I may actually switch over and do my beak first, just because I think my eyes are gonna overlap it a little bit. And maybe a couple more pins just to really keep that the eyes stay level there, the little lashes. Okay, so I'm going to complete that off camera and then I'm going to meet you up. Okay, so for the wing, I'm going to be using the G hook, and I'll be working the crocodile stitch to make the wings. So let's start out the slip knot on the hook and chain 4. In the first chain, we're going to work a double crochet. Okay, so now we have this little circle made. We're going to chain 3 as our first double crochet, and along this double crochet we're going to work 4 doubles. Okay, so that's the side of the crocodile stitch. Now we'll chain 1 for the point, turn our work. Now we're going up this chain section and we're going to work 4 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 3 and slip stitch into the center. Okay, so that is our first scale, but I'm going to call it a feather for this design. Now we'll chain 3 and work a double crochet in the same space. So now we've made another base to do another feather. So just as we did before, we'll chain 3 as our first double, then we'll work 4 double crochet. We'll chain 1 for the point, and then we're turning to get over to the chain section. This time we're going to work 5 double crochet. because now we're going to start increasing. So I don't need to be in the center, so that's where I've just finished with a double. Now what we'll do is chain 3, work a double in the first, in that same space. We'll chain 2, and then in the center of the feather, we're going to work 2 doubles, chain 2, and then in this corner of the feather, we're going to work 2 doubles. So now what this done is created a base row for us to work our feathers. So this here will be our first, so we'll chain 3, working 4 doubles as we've been doing. Chain 1. You need to turn to get over to this double crochet right here, and then we'll work 5 doubles. Okay, and then we're going to chain 1. You chain 1 between your feathers as you work across. Now, as you can see here, we have a base that we are not going to crochet into because this feather overlaps it and we're offsetting our feathers. So we're going to skip over this base. We're going to work into the next base. So when you're looking at your piece, you want to be creating that feather going down. So we're going to start right this double right here, and we're going to work 5 double crochets to complete one side of the feather. Oops. We'll chain 1, and we're turning to work up the other side and work 5 doubles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're going to create that base row now. So we're going to start out by chaining 3 and a double crochet in the same space. Chain 2. Now in between this feather, we'll work 2 doubles. Chain 2. Now what we want to do, see how this is open here? We want to go through this chain 1 and the center of this base when we work the double. So we're going to work 2 doubles. So that's really anchoring that all together now. Chain 2. We'll work the next base between the feather. So 2 doubles. Chain 2. And then in the corner of this feather, we'll work our final 2 doubles. So now we have this base created, and this is how you can just continue to keep increasing. This will be our last increase because I'm just going to work that we have 3 feathers. Okay, so let's go through this. So we're going to chain 3, work 4 doubles, and then we'll chain 1, turn, and work 5 doubles. one more. And then I'll chain one. Okay, and if you lay your piece down, you can see we're skipping over this base, and we're going to be working now right in the center of these two feathers. So turn your work, grab that first double, and then we're going to work 5 double crochets down the first side. Chain one, turn and work up the other side, creating the other side of the feather. And I'm just going to complete this now. After I'm done here, I'll chain one and work the very last feather. Okay, so I finished that off. You can give your feathers just a little tug to shape them. Just finger block them. And now what you want to do is create another one. So you're going to have 2 wings. Okay, so what we want to do now is sew the wings together. So wrong sides facing. Just want to put them together like this. Take one of your tails. Now what I like to do is go through the corners. Then the center of the feather. Then we're going to go through both sections here of that base piece and the chain. Okay, and then through the center, next 2 feathers. The next base and chain section. And then let's see where I'm at here, between the feathers again. And then the end corners. Okay, now you should be able to pull that like this, and it's going to pull your wings together. So they're not quite as big, so it's going to bunch them in. So then I'm just going to knot these tails together to secure that. Okay, so now what I did is my tail was originally here. I wove it down. I just did some weaving and pulled to kind of almost give him a little bit of a neck. And we're just gonna now sew the head here to the center of the blanket. Basically sewing it to that first round of stitches, and I'm just going back and forth around. Just want to make sure that you really secure the head well. Okay, so now I've taken the wings and I've just wrapped them around the neck area. So what we want to do is just get our yarn down in a good position. And we're going to sew it to the blanket. then once you get that all sewn nice and secure, what we're gonna do is take his little wings, her little wings, and we're gonna sew these pieces together. So then you can hold it by its little wings here. Okay, so the final thing is I'm just going to add some tassels to each of the corners. So we're just going into the tip. Use a hook to help. And then once you put them on, you can trim them all up so they're about the same length. So I just cut one of each color about 8 inches. In length, and then just work all the way around. So this is how it looks. And with all the little tassels, you can always give them a steam, but it looks adorable just like this. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel to stay updated on new videos and tutorials. Thanks so much.